Hey friends, welcome to the Wise Witch Garden Table. I don't know if you spend time in your yard in the summer like we do, but we can literally spend, countless minutes, hours outside on our patio watching all the wildlife and bird life, and we get a lot of hummingbirds in our backyard. So, I don't know if you get them, but if you do, you probably really have come to appreciate just uh, how amazing those little creatures are. They say that hummingbirds invoke joy and a sense of awe and and lightness, right? And that's how I feel when I see them. I know that they make me become incredibly present to the moment, and I just love seeing them. So today, I thought we'd do some homemade hummingbird food. First of all, the stuff that you buy in the store is loaded with red dye, and some of it even other sort of preservatives that aren't found in the natural world. So if you're buying that over-the-counter red dyed stuff, well, number one, you're paying too much money. And number two, you could be doing harm to the little critters that you're trying to support and feed and watch. So much cheaper, much easier to just make your own. I'm going to show you how. I think it's kind of interesting, right? Hummingbirds are so important to our ecological system. They're not just, they're pollinators. They're also, what I love about them is as pollinators, they go after the flowers that are really nectar laden. And I think in doing that, they remind us to constantly seek out the sweetness in life. So let's get to it. This is pretty easy. What you're going to need is a clean container. I use this, I don't even know how big this is. It's a gigantic bowl jar. I know it holds 8 cups of water. You're going to need water and sugar. That's it. And a pot and a stove. So the ratio for hummingbird food is 4 cups of water to 1 cup of sugar, right? 4 and 1. So if my amazingly large ball jar holds 8 cups of water, I'm going to use 2 cups of sugar, right? Because I'm just multiplying that ratio of 4 to 1. So 4 to 1 is going to do it. And how we're going to start it is we're going to get a pot, which we have on the stove right here. Here we go. In our pot is going to go 4 cups of water. One cup of sugar. We're going to turn that on pretty high and bring it to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, you want to let it go for about, 10, 15 minutes, just enough so that the sugar does melt down in the water. You don't really want to see, when it's ready, you don't want to see any sugar crystals at all. You just want to, looks like water with the dissolved sugar in it. What I do to also kind of help myself year after year, because we get hummingbirds seasonally here in Massachusetts, so they start showing up around mid-spring, and then they disappear around about October. So what I do is I save my fabulous ball hummingbird food jar, and on the lid, what I've done is a little cheat, and I recommend, go right ahead, copy my cheat, no charge for you. Friends, I've written the ratio here. So I've written hummingbird, so I know what it's for. The ratio is water, 4 cups, to sugar, 1 cup. So that just helps me every year when I pull out my empty container to get myself all prepared for our little friends returning. I have that recipe and that ratio that seems to work just fine. So let's let that come to a boil. We'll fill it up, and really that's it. When it has melted and you've filled your container with the hummingbird food, what you're going to want to do is store this in the fridge. You also, pro tip, when you're filling your hummingbird container with your homemade sugar water, don't fill it to the brim unless you have a lot of activity. And the reason why you don't want to fill it to the brim is because if it's sitting out there baking in the hot sun, the contents can turn to kind of yucky. They can almost ferment and become sort of alcohol. So you don't really want to do that to the birds. So I would recommend, fill your container halfway and start there. Use that as a gauge to see how quickly your little winged friends are going to come and receive that from you. And then fill it more or less depending on how much activity you get. So I hope that's been helpful to you folks. I hope you have an amazing day today. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate seeing you all, and have a beautiful day. Bye now.